Proportional relationships, lesson 6 notes. Slope. You should be familiar with slope. You've worked with slope before. Slope is how a line is slanted, right? So up here in the traveling car problem, there is a slant to that graph, and the slope is how it is slanted, right? To find the slope, you want to find rise over run. Slope is rise over run. In other words, if you pick 2 points, you find the difference in y-coordinates. In math, difference means to subtract. So you find the difference in y-coordinates, that would be your rise. If you think about it, the y-coordinate is how you move up and down on the graph. So you find the difference in your y-coordinates over your difference in x-coordinates. The run is the x-coordinates. Remember, difference means to subtract. So if I want to find the rise, I take one y-coordinate and subtract the other y-coordinate. If I want to find the difference in x, I take one x-coordinate and subtract the other x-coordinate. So again, slope is rise over run, or difference in y-coordinates over difference in x-coordinates. Or another way you might hear it said is change in y over change in x. What was the change in y over the change in x? And think about that change. Doesn't that sound similar to rate of change? In other words, slope, again, is rise over run. A positive slope. A positive slope is going upward, moving left to right. Positive slope is upward, moving left to right. For slope, it's always left to right. So positive is going upward, therefore negative would be going downward. So negative slope is downward, left to right. So again, positive slopes move upward, left to right. Negative slopes move downward. So if I go up to my traveling car problem, going from left to right, it is moving upward. And because it's moving upward, that means it is a positive slope. Horizontal slope. Well, this would be a horizontal line. And this would be a vertical line. Right, a horizontal slope. If you look at that line doesn't have any rise to it. So that means in the 0, there would be a 0 in the numerator, which means we're taking 0 divided by any number. And 0 divided by any number is 0. So for horizontal slope, your slope equals 0. For all horizontal lines, the slope equals 0. For all horizontal lines, the slope equals 0. Vertical lines go up and down. That means there is rise but no run. There is rise but no run. Well, that means the 0 would be in the denominator. And if you would try to divide by 0 on your calculators, you would get an error called divide by 0 error. Because way back in elementary school, you should have learned that you cannot divide by 0. Therefore, when we have a vertical line, the slope is undefined. So again, if the line is going upward from left to right, it's a positive slope. Going downward, it's a negative slope. If it's a horizontal line, the slope is 0. If it's a vertical line, the slope is undefined. All right, now, sometimes you're going to be given 2 points. Right? Sometimes you're going to be given 2 points. You're going to take the coordinates of the first point and name them x1 and y1. You're going to take the coordinates of the second point and name them x2 and y2. For example, let's go up to our traveling car problem. If I come up to my traveling car problem, I would call this point right here x1, y1. And then the 525, this point right here, I would call that x2, y2. All right, so if you got 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and you want to find the slope. Well, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And again, we've said from the beginning, it's the difference in y coordinates over the difference in x coordinate. Difference in y coordinates over the difference in x coordinates. Okay, if you have any questions on slope, please do not hesitate to ask. We will be using this equation quite a bit, so please make sure you understand how to use that. And again, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask.